What is up, everybody? As you can see, I'm back with another fucking video. I'm joined today with another collab with the boy Naruto Chia 12, and basically, it's probably going up on both of our channels. So if you're seeing it from his point of view, it's gonna seem a little weird, but fuck off. It's all about my channel. Go to my channel, bitches. But yeah, basically, we're fucking gonna be talking about how Orochimaru could have easily fucking taken over the world. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Indeed, we shall get into the video.
First off, you fucking Orochimaru. He's literally stated one of the smartest people in the entire anime. He's a fucking mad genius. And as you saw earlier on, when he was actually fucking experimenting on human children and all that shit, because he wanted to fucking apparently like save the property from all that torture and all that shit, so they saw it as a means of just experimentation. He was experimenting with Hashirama cells. There's multiple ways at which he could have made himself more powerful. First off, he was very persistent on him changing bodies for immortality purposes. That was his biggest thing. When he could have very well learned something like, okay, well, look at, for instance, Tsunade. She has the 100 healings. He is very capable of learning such a thing on top of his own abilities. So how do I know this? Well, simply put, look at Sakura. She learned the capabilities of the 100 healings in 3 years. 3 years time span of learning that and being near Tsunade's level is pretty fucking amazing. Because of the fact that she had crazy chakra control. He was seen as a prodigy among prodigies. Literally a fucking god, basically. He had amazing chakra control. He had quite a bit of chakra, and plus the fact was he was literally gene splicing along with using Hashirama cells. So henceforth, if you were to use that, he would increase his chakra amount. Example of this being Obito. Obito himself didn't possess that much chakra in the first place, but once he actually gained so much chakra, he was actually able to counteract the actual downsides or the defects of the fucking Mangekyo. So he didn't go blind, as you could see in the actual anime and in the manga. So, if you were to stands to reason, he could fucking be like, okay, I want the fucking Hashirama dick up my ass, and then there, he fucking got that shit. What do you think about that, Naruto Uchiha 122?
Yeah, I actually really do agree with your point there about like the whole Hashirama cells. You know, his main thing was that he wanted to switch bodies to become immortal. His main plan to do that was getting into the body of an Uchiha to negate the basically effects that a non-Uchiha would have with the basically Sharingan. However, we see that, something where he's literally met Danzo, and he's seen what Hashirama cells can do to, like, affect the Sharingan and basically negate all of those different, like, effects. And instead of being like, oh, maybe I should do this to myself, give myself Hashirama cells, massively strengthening myself and allowing me to use Sharingan freely, he's like, no, I'm just gonna continue with my old plan of literally training this kid who seems to, like, kind of want to kill me most of the time, but whatever, I'm just gonna train him. And then it's like, he could have, there's a couple things he could have done. He could have, like, not been lazy. He could have taken Sasuke's body and then, like, trained it himself, and Sasuke wouldn't have fucking killed him at that point then. He could have done a lot of different things to get a Sharingan that he just didn't do for some reason.
I do believe the reason why he trained Sasuke, though, was for the fact that he made a deal with Sasuke in the first place. He was like, hey, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get revenge. Actually, no.
Yeah,
he
true.
said he would get the revenge for Sasuke, did he?
Yeah, he did. He was like, I'll get you stronger. And then, yeah, he said he was going to get the revenge for him. And Sasuke was fine with that as long as he did get the revenge.
He really bamboozled himself, didn't he?
He did. It's like, why didn't he just take his body?
Another thing. Like, there's fucking... The fact is, he was so persistent on taking over Sasuke's body. And originally he was going to go with Kimimura's body because it was, like, borderline better than fucking Sasuke since, it was such a rare clan thing. But if he really wanted to, he could gene splice. If he wanted to, he could take the Sharingan from Sasuke. Like, what would be someone like Kakashi. And he would have Hashirama cells. If you do that, what would you gain? You have Senju clan. And then you also have Sharingan clan. Or, Sharingan, what the fuck? The Uchiha clan. Now that you have both of that, you can obtain it and put it into a Rinnegan. If he also wanted to, he can make his own actual fucking dojutsu. Why couldn't he? Well, he could if he wanted to. Literally, he fucking could. He has all these other DNA samples. He could get the Katsuri clan, which is literally the blood-bending one, or the blood fucking thing where you make someone explode in that one, like, towards the end filler, I think it was, with Sasuke and that little girl. He could get the fucking Hyuga. He could literally get the Rinnegan. He could obtain all of these fucking things, put it together DNA-wise, and maybe even make his own by adding other things, because he made ninja steroids. He was the originator of that shit, the progenitor. Like, he's a fucking genius. He literally made all of this, and guess what? In Boruto, it's literally theorized, or the fact is, he made his fucking son. Mizuki. And he literally fucking did all that. So he's a fucking genius. He could do this. He literally knows genetic splicing. He's probably made clone of Naruto. People theorize that Mizuki is actually a clone of Naruto's DNA. That's why he's so powerful. Plus the fact is, like, Sage Mode. He doesn't even have Sage Mode. So he can learn Sage Mode too. He's retarded for someone who's like a genius.
Yeah, and if you don't want to go through like the whole like gene splicing route and kind of shit like that, he gives Kimimaru, or yeah, basically, would have been a really good body to actually pick. He's like, hey, I'll give you some Hashirama cells. That shit will probably heal you up. Or he could have like gone to like Tsunade, who most likely also would have been able to heal him up. Like, there's a few things he could have done in order to actually successfully gain Kimimaru's body. So once he gained Kimimaru's body, he's like, oh, well, since he had the knowledge of the Rinnegan, which he does because Kabuto knew of the Rinnegan, and he was only, like, got all of that because of the fact that he absorbed, like, all the information and stuff, shit like that Orochimaru had. So Orochimaru would know exactly how to obtain the Rinnegan. He's like, okay, so if I grab a Sharingan and I grab a fucking, like, Hashirama fucking shit, it's like, he could have easily, like, he could have done that too. He doesn't even have to go through the whole like gene splicing route in order to actually get the Rinnegan. It's like he doesn't really. It's not that really that complicated.
Thing too. Like, how does it work with actual like fucking body taking over? Because as we saw, Orochimaru, when he first wasn't able to actually take over Sasuke's body in the original like arc, when he was like missed time, he had to take nurse bodies that fought to death. Once he took over the body, it seemed to resort back to his normal look and appearance. Would that not mean that basically Orochimaru is kind of just like the Sharingan in the first place if he takes over the body? So it would be more useful to actually take the Sharingan out and put it in with some Hashirama cells, making your own actual Dogen.
It really would, because of the fact that like literally every single body he went into, it like seemed to like have some kind of he had this illness that seemed to like be completely incurable. Like the thing of immortality that he was going for, I don't know if he was like trying to like cure that or what the fuck he was trying to do, but I don't know. He could have done it in a much easier way though, like much easier.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was because he was like he couldn't keep the body from deteriorating for more than 3 years, I believe it was 3 to 5 years. So yeah, I think that's what it was, or something like that. And then once he lost his arms, it seemed he couldn't even regain his arms by going into another body, which didn't really make sense to me, but hey.
Yeah, it's like his arms got sealed, but not the person's body he's going into, so that doesn't make sense.
But it's like inconsistencies with writing.
Yeah, basically.
But like again, if he wanted to, let's say he did all that, that's a good staple of just getting power. But let's say he didn't even want to fucking obtain all that power, and he had his normal fucking abilities right there. He could still take over very well a lot of things if he actually fucking tried. He could inject ninja steroids into his own system, giving him that. He can provide himself with the curse. All of these things are alternatives. He could even learn Sage Mode, which is a better version of the curse mark. Like,
yeah, remember Kabuto when he used Sage Mode? He was so fucking hacks. Like Jiraiya goes into Sage Mode. It's like, yeah, cool. He's a little bit stronger and he has like a few more jutsu and a little bit more chakra. Fucking Kabuto went into Sage Mode. He became a complete and utter fucking beast. He was like going up against like Itachi and fucking Sasuke. It's like, bro.
I know, right? He was fucking crazy because he had that Dragon Sage Mode. So it only stands to reason that someone like Orochimaru, who's extremely sadistic and has a fucking bond with Manda, he could have fucking actually taken it. He could have been like, all right, let's do this shit. So he could have actually.
Yeah, it's like, didn't he go to whatever the cave
Manda was one of the most
like towards
powerful,
the beginning of
if not the most powerful fucking summoning summoning jutsu, I guess, his animal or whatever it is. So if he used that, he could have taken out many villages at one point in time, and he could have cherry picked it by himself alone. He had another village at some point. Gotta remember that. He had this village sitting in the sound, which you seem to have just it just disbanded and disappeared. Highly doubt
what
that.
the fuck did happen with the village of the sound?
Like, he could have fucking used that, trained them properly, been like, hey, let's go fucking take care of this, use strategic things, and taken out the lower villages first. Or if he wanted to be really smart, he waits for Jiraiya, since Jiraiya has an intel network, he can go over to another place since he has to go and like maybe check out the hidden rain at certain points. They have really no powerhouses in the Leaf other than Kakashi, Might Guy, and then of course what would be, Hiruzen. Hiruzen isn't that too much of a problem for him because the fact is Hiruzen aged. Hiruzen was stated to actually surpass someone like the second Hokage once he was in his prime. That's basically stated, but he's old now. He doesn't have as much power as and it was literally shown in just the original arc when he ended up only being able to seal away Orochimaru's arms. And then it was shown that Orochimaru wasn't even using his full capabilities at that point in time. That's even better. Like, what the fuck? Orochimaru, you could have done so much more shit. You could have used the Leaf Longsword if you wanted to. Why didn't you? You didn't even... And he didn't also, at the same time, he didn't know as much about the fucking possessing or, like, how to master the fucking, reincarnation. What is that shit? It's
the Rene Tensei or some shit. Yeah.
It's fucking...
Reanimation.
Yeah, whatever, you
jutsu?
know.
Whatever the
Shinra
fuck it's
Tensei,
called.
or no, Shinra Tensei. What the fuck?
Shinra
Alright,
Tensei is a Renegon, bitch, boy.
Yeah, I know, that's fucking pushing one. It's from the Diva Path. I'm trying to remember what exactly that's called, but it's fucking...
The Rene
basically
Rebirth. Rene
reincarnation
Rebirth. No,
type
no,
shit.
that's the fucking Renegon one still. Damn, what is it called?
It's basically just like fucking...
Edo
It's
Tensei.
basically
Edo
just
Tensei.
fucking bring it back. But basically, if he wanted to, he could have used that shit. He learned it better. Once he learned it better, he was able to use it more. So, like, he learned it from Kabuto, because Kabuto was, like, a master at this fucking shit. And it really didn't know too much about it. So, since he didn't have it, he was kind of held back in that position. If he learned a little bit more about how to use it or develop it, plus the fact that he had more people with him, he could have taken care of it, or taken care of it in the first place. He has people sealing it around, and he can have another person just providing it with the extra force or extra effort needed. So 2 people are taking care of what would be the actual Hokages or some shit like that, or like anyone's Hokage's guards, like Kakashi and shit like that. The Anbu never seem to really be around. For some fucking security unit, they don't do shit. And if he really wanted to, guarantee you, he can go up to Danzo, who wasn't really a big fan of the Third Hokage's teachings and was willing to betray him in the first place. So he could literally just give him a fucking offer, and then he can be double-cross Danzo, killing him in the process.
Yeah, basically. You know, or he could go through, like, the whole immortality route, like, fucking, like... So, you know how Hidan was, like, completely immortal because he, like, prayed to a god? Like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be in, like, Orochimaru's pride to be able to, like, do something like that, but if, like, that was, like, the true thing that he wanted to obtain, he easily could have just been like, okay, well, time to become a believer in fucking Joshin now, because, like, he knew of him.
Basically because
like,
he was such such a deep believer, though, I believe. That was the only reason why. And if he was able to, like, Orochimaru, I don't understand. He could have possibly, because he was clearly into that, and he, like, really believed in immortality, and seeing someone else with this, he would probably be like, oh, shit. But at the same time, I do believe that Orochimaru didn't know of, actually, Hidan. He might have, but if I am not mistaken...
It's really hard to believe he didn't know of Hidan with all the information and, like, spies and shit that he had.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, I don't think he met him in person. So knowing all this, I think he might have had his doubts. But at the same time, we have to notice that Orochimaru is pretty fucking stubborn. He wants to do things his own way.
What the fuck even happened with Joshin? He, like, never did anything. Like, his most, like, treasured disciple, or however you want to put it, like, dies. And it's like Joshin's, like, obviously he's, like, some kind of god, but, like, he never does anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing you can do, I guess. I mean, you could just, like, give him extra immense power.
Yeah, he literally has to have this, like, immeasurable power. He made Hidan fucking, immortal, basically, other than, like, obviously with, like, certain restrictions, like, you know, but, like...
Exactly.
Still, it's like, how powerful actually is that motherfucker?
And they also got to compare something like this. Do we think... who's stronger? What would be, like, Orochimaru or Jiraiya? Jiraiya's objectively stronger. Who's more versatile? I would have to go with Orochimaru. He does have Manda, which is on par with, or actually probably stronger than Gamakichi and all, like, those big-ass fuckers. I would say he's pretty, or Gamabunsa, is that what it's called, or something like that? Yeah, Gamagichi's the small one, but he does get pretty big. But I would say pretty much at the same point. He's fucking got a better summoning, and he doesn't possess Sage Mode, so that can give him a downside.
It gives him a downside, but, like...
They're pretty on par when it comes down to intellect and battle strategy. But he is more sly, and he's much dirtier in his fighting tactics. He could have someone else come in and fucking fire arrows. He could have Kabuto fucking come over and slice him with his fucking, like, disconnect tendons. That's literally what Kabuto kind of did. And that's what he was doing against Tsunade originally, and he was able to keep up with her at first. Which was literally kind of, I don't know, Kabuto was just kind of an underrated beast. He could do a lot of shit. He's one of the stronger characters. Honestly, I don't see Sakura being able to kill Kabuto. Wouldn't even be able to beat him. Kabuto would whoop her ass. Like, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
That should be our next video. We should do Kabuto versus Sakura.
Oh god, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, we could literally just destroy everyone on white. Or if like someone thinks.
Well, yeah, but like
Sakura
think
could
about
win, like,
okay. So back to like whole Orochimaru versus like Jiraiya. It's like okay, base to base. It's pretty obvious that Orochimaru would like pretty easily win that, but like
yeah,
Jiraiya. He can technically enter Sage mode, but like he needs to like
I do know that, but it's an
5
imperfect
fucking
version.
minutes in order
That's
to do
the biggest
it.
issue I'm saying. If it comes down to a one-on-one, Jiraiya's gonna win because of the Sage mode, and it's imperfect. But if it were to be something like, all right, well, Jiraiya has Sage mode and all this, and he's going against Orochimaru, someone could literally fire something off. Yes, it does have like good senses. He has really good senses, but they're not on the same level of a perfected Sage mode. So if someone were to fire like a barrage of fucking attacks that are so fast, even though he senses them, he can't move, that'd be fine. If he has a whole fucking army of people coming after him, he takes out Jiraiya. It's done. Who's gonna be easier to defeat? Well, it's literally stated that Tsunade's the weakest of the three of them. Simply put. Orochimaru's the smartest, Jiraiya's the strongest, and then, Tsunade's the weakest, but she's the healer.
Well, that was
she's the supporter.
before fucking Orochimaru ended up leaving like the Sannin and doing like his own thing, because like that time Jiraiya spent, researching. Orochimaru was like experimenting on other people, like making new jutsus, doing this, doing that. It's like literally just constantly getting stronger.
So it is debatable, especially since the fact is Jiraiya nearly died to a 3 tails version.
4 tails. It was a 4 tails. But Orochimaru was like pretty much
because
on
he
par
got
with
severely injured by a 3 tails at one point. He was like in training, but then he nearly died to the 4 tails. And then the 4 tails went against Orochimaru and was whooping his ass immensely, but Orochimaru was fucking regurgitating himself way better. He didn't remotely die type shit. So it just goes to show that he can outlast Jiraiya in stamina, which each time he regurgitates himself, he's using chakra. So you have to it stands to reason. This dude has a shit ton of chakra that he's just not using. Like, he doesn't even need Hashirama cells. He's got a shit ton, but like if he adds fucking ninja steroids up into his bitch, he's done. And if you fucking were to use Jugo and put like an actual curse mark on him, what if you were to double up? It's basically stated that the curse mark or Jugo's thing is it's taking in nature energy subconsciously, and he loses himself, making a more sadistic personality. But that's what the curse mark stage is. It's basically so if you wanted a curse mark stage 2 on top of Sage mode, how OP would this guy be?
So just giving somebody like a curse mark,
plus like Hashirama cells, plus a fucking shotgun.
Just giving somebody like a curse mark like weaken him, because he's literally giving them his chakra.
He's actually not necessarily. He's giving up part of him technically, because like it's for purposes where they can revive him. That's why Itachi initially used the Tosca blade to like get rid of this curse mark on Sasuke, so he couldn't be revived like that. So it's a curse mark is the biggest reason for why he can come back to life, because it's a portion of him, but it's also the same thing. It's the same aspects.
Like every little time, like he has to like regurgitate himself, somebody just randomly dies.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Like,
Jesus.
Oh my god, just imagine that. Somebody like in some like random like fucking dungeon somewhere in Orochimaru's hideout just fucking falls over dying like randomly. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's literally. I can understand why he has that ability, because he's a snake, molten his skin and all that shit. It's just such a hacks ability, and it's so downplayed upon. This dude literally possesses, and it stands to reason. Like if he really wanted to, does he? I'm pretty sure he possesses a kind of venom too, like a paralysis type thing. Does he not? Because like he's a snake with that type of shit. And if not, he could add poison gas in. He can actually use ninja tools. He doesn't. If he were to use actual shit like this, it'd be smart. You don't really see him use jutsus either. He just uses the leaf longsword that he regurgitates every once in a while, which is shown.
Yeah, other than using the fucking whatever the fuck the gates were, he literally doesn't really use any jutsu in his fight against the Four Tails Naruto.
Hey, it really doesn't do anything, honestly. Yeah, that was the fucking one thing he had, and that was hacks as fuck. I don't see Jiraiya being able to beat something with that much fucking defensive power. And that shows how much chakra he possesses. That's a shit ton right there.
Orochimaru comes out, he's just like, through my research, I have been able to develop the armor of the Susanoo without their shine. It's like...
Yo, oh my god. Yo, that would make sense. For him, it might be possible, honestly. You don't even...
It's literally just chakra, but in a physical form. You'd think he would be able to do it.
So if he were to go blind, his literal resources or like he's so fucking used to like walking around with this type of shit, he could take one Sharingan or put both of them in, obtaining the Mangekyo. Because guess what? Itachi's eyes are just floating around there, aren't? No, Sasuke's eyes are floating around out there. What the
Orochimaru
fuck?
honestly probably still has them.
No, he never had them. It was fucking Obito who had them.
Was
What
it
the
Obi-
fuck?
Oh wait, what? You're right.
Yo, we need to make like another video on
What
the
happened to
fuck
Sasuke's eyeballs?
Sasuke's eyeballs, where are they? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Shit. Alright. But yeah, basically, literally showed he's fucking God. He's a literal God. He could take care of all of those people. And then if the biggest challenge, I think, for him would be people like the Kages themselves. Gaara, he's not gonna be a sweat. Like, he's already taken care of by Naruto and all that shit. But either way, he could take care of fucking Gaara, because once he kills, he can take the tail beast for himself if he wanted to. He can gain those abilities.
Yeah,
he would
like-
probably be the fucking dude to take care of it too. Because guess what? If you were to actually take the body, or take the fucking, oh, if you were to take a Jinchuriki's body, that would be actually pretty interesting. But if you were to take either the body or just fucking take the beast from him and seal it inside of him, he has more than enough chakra. Showed that he's literally on par with Jinchuriki. He doesn't lose his chakra.
You know
Plus
what's really
Hashirama
funny
cells
too?
gives him that boost.
He literally had 2 unconscious Jinchuriki, like, right next to him. It was shown that he was at the Chunin exams, and he was just like, you know what? Instead of doing this, I think I'm gonna go kill the 3rd Hokage instead. He could have literally just gotten 2 Jinchuriki, like, completely unconscious, incapable of even trying to fight him. He could have just been like, oh, that's convenient.
I don't know, right? I would have fucking grabbed their bodies. I would have fucking extracted it and put it inside of me. That's like how it would have worked. It's not like you're gonna get corrupted.
Yeah, or at the
You do have
very
someone
least,
pretty
you're just like, okay, let me make sure you guys are not gonna fucking wake up for a while. You fucking, like, go grab one of your henchmen, and you're like, take them back to the hideout for me. Make sure they don't fucking wake up.
Exactly. And then plus the fact is, if he feeds his fucking curse mark to everyone and they fucking survive it, which is, or their second stage of the curse mark, and they survive it, they become OP as fuck. So immensely overpowered. And if he did, and he actually trained them properly, and he trained, he would be extremely overpowered because he stopped training. Let's be honest. He just didn't train. Like, he had Sasuke train, but he could train himself. Plus, the fact that his regenerative factor is so good, I would say he could get a good amount of training and to actually strengthen his muscles or just strengthen his actual techniques. He did a lot of research for like certain things on gene splicing and all of that. But realistically, he didn't really look on too many of fucking techniques.
Well-
He was obsessed with the scrolls. That's the biggest thing he wanted was the scroll at first.
That's
But then he
true.
forgot about it.
Yeah, why did he just, like, forget about it? It's like, that would have been really useful. Like, literally every forbidden jutsu, like, the flying Raijin was most likely in there. It's like, he remembers the 4th
if he
Hokage.
got the fucking flying Raijin, he would have been immensely overpowered. Because it's definitely would have been like, it would have been, if it were to be anyone's version, it probably would have been the second Hokage's version. That's how Minato found out about it, probably. But the second Hokage, he could grab that version and he could perfect it. He's a genius. Then let's say he gets the Shadow Clones. The dude would be able to utilize them with how much chakra he has. He's immensely overpowered. That's really all we have to fucking say at this point. The video's getting a little longer.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah,
like,
I mean,
just imagine this.
basically the story
Yeah,
is fucking God.
Fucking Orochimaru manages to get that scroll, learns the flying Raijin, shows up at the Chunin exams, and he just, like, fucking is just like, hey, guess what? I can do this now, and he teleports behind him, and fucking Hiruzen is just like, Minato, as he starts crying before he dies. It's like,
Shit. You know, yeah. I mean, that would be kind of how it would go. I'm not gonna lie. All right, well, yeah. Thank you
Okay.
all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn post notifications. I guess check out each other's channels, maybe in the description. Actually, no, just search us up. We're both too lazy to put the link in the description.
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Just look us up. What if Sensei Naruto Uchiha 122? All right, just 12. Okay.
Look,
yeah,
look,
that's really it.
come on.
Make
I
sure to like,
used to be a
subscribe.
122. I lost that privilege. I'm just a 12 now, my guy.
Okay, okay, bud. Okay.